give a scientific basis for techniques that were sort of developed more as an art. The two key findings of cognitive science is first that there is that reason and emotion are intricately interconnected, that in fact there is no reason without emotion, and you can actually overcome reason by appealing to the emotions. And there you have, of course, the television, which appeals to the emotions much more directly than the linear written word. So the appeal to emotions is easier than it used to be. Then the other major finding is that actually most of the thought processes are not conscious. That we receive information, millions of bits of information, but only a very few of them can enter into consciousness. And we process that information without ever being conscious of it. And it's by working at this peripheral level that people's emotions can be very easily influenced. It's sort of, when it's sharp vision, central vision, then that enters into consciousness. But what is at the periphery actually doesn't, and yet you process it in some way. So using those two techniques has been very powerful, and if it doesn't enter in consciousness, it's very difficult to maintain a critical attitude. Another element, I think, is that because of this industry of communications industry, we have become very used to prepackaged thought. And so we actually use only information that is prepackaged for us. And when it has been used in politics, there is now really a packaging industry, and it does have some similarities to the institute where Winston, the hero of 1984, worked, the Ministry of Truth. And while you have pluralistic media, you have a parallel method of propaganda which parades as pluralistic media. The Fox News is a prime example of that. And because it parades as mainstream media, it's accepted by the mainstream media. And then deliberate untruths are accepted as one of the pieces of information that you have to consider. So you have Fox News that is fair and balanced, and that, of course, is newspeak. But then you have the mainstream media that tries to be fair and balanced, and therefore information coming from newspeak sources is accepted as one of the ideas that have to be presented. And you have a number of institutes that deliberately manufacture such information. I want to mention in connection with global warming. You had a number of institutes supported by ExxonMobil. And while scientific opinion is now 99% recognizing that global warming is man-made, public opinion or public information in the media is still, until quite recently, was 50-50. And that showed the influence of this institute. There is a demand for academic pluralism in David Horowitz, who is the champion of this, that demands equal time in the academic community for the far right, because the academia is considered to be too left-wing. And then you have got, of course, creationism, which is demanding equal time to Darwinism. And that's another example. But the question still remains, how come that the public is so susceptible to newspeak and the distortion of reality? And there, I think one has to question the prevailing value system in America, because we are very pragmatic and results-oriented, and we don't really care how the results are achieved. And as a result, we actually don't care about the truth very much. That is a shocking thought, but it's the only explanation I can find how come that newspeak is so successful. And we are all caught up in this metaphor, the war on terror. Now, this I found shocking because it really undermined my belief in open society. Because if you recall, Karl Popper argued that since we have no, since we operate with imperfect understanding, we need critical thinking to come closer to the truth. And therefore, we need critical thought, free discussion, freedom of thought, and so on. And that is, of course, what America has stood for, and what I have been trying to support with my foundations. And so there is a problem here if political debate is actually not concerned with the truth. And that is actually a fact. And Karl Rove and Frank Luntz discovered the truth that escaped people like Karl Popper, who was genuinely devoted to the pursuit of truth. Namely, that political debate is actually more concerned with manipulating the truth than establishing, getting at the truth. And there's a certain personal irony in this for me, because I had made the same discovery 50 years ago when I developed the concept